Go.
Hi, welcome everybody. So this session here is led by Andrew, who manages the professional development department at Purple Mash. He delivers thousands of CPD sessions. He's a primary specialist with decades, I'm sure he won't like me saying that, decades of experience in education in the class. Pardon?
Sad but true.
Oh, never mind. It's the same for all of us when it gets into decades. So he's going to be talking about how Purple Mash is great for online learning and the thousands of schools that use it. We use it and we love it. So I will hand you over to Andrew.
Okay, yes. Well, I'm just going to take you a quick look through some of the ways that you might use it when you're back in school. Obviously, at the present time, it's being used hugely for online learning. But the focus I was asked to look at is how would you use it again when you're back in school? And so there's quite a lot of features that actually you would be using remotely, but you'd also use when you're back in school. So it's a sort of a quick overview of the sort of things that you need to look for and the sort of things that you should be really using if you're going to maximize your use of Purple Mash. So first of all, planning. Rather than spend an awful lot of time clicking in here and searching through lots of resources, because there's thousands on Purple Mash, your best bet is to head to the teachers area up here. And you've got two areas. You've got planning and then you've got the curriculum maps. So if it was a particular subject area that you're interested in, then head for instance, Purple Mash in England. I mean, if you're in Wales and Scotland or Northern Ireland, there's other options there as well. There's Australia and South Africa if you're coming from there. But if I click on Purple Mash in England, and you can see there's the subject. So if it was science, I can just click on the science button there and I can just scroll down. There's my units. So easy as I want to do plants in year one, I just click plants in year one, and you can see I've got my learning objectives up here. I've got a list of the resources. I've got the links to the resources here as well. And then I've got other suggestions on resources that might be useful with Purple Mash. So this is quite handy, especially if you're wanting to combine your computing with other parts of the curriculum, because over here it says things like you're identifying and classifying plants and describing them, etc. So it's saying over here you might want to use the pictogram program, you might want to use the branching database. So you might find some useful sort of links through to computing here as well. So basically this is all the same all the way through to year 6. You can scroll through, it's all linked up. So save yourself a bit of time and look at the curriculum maps. You've also got early years mapped here as well, but if you're using mini mash with early years, that is separately mapped as well. So you can have the whole of Purple Mash mapped here, but you can also have mini mash if you're using that mapped too. The other areas that you might be interested in, which again will save you a bit of time, is the computing schema work up here. So again, that is as simple as click on the computing schema work. You've got a computing scheme here. You can click on year 1. You've got all the units. If you click on a unit, you've got your knowledge organizers for each unit, which is quite handy. You can just quickly see what I mean. You've got your key learning, key resources, key vocab, etc. And then you've got your coding, for instance, unit there. And then if you scroll on down through all the introductions, you get to your medium-term plan. So you've got all your medium-term plans, you've got your aims, your success criteria, and then you've also got your individual lessons listed. So if I click on lesson 2, I go straight through to lesson 2. So there's a lesson plan for each lesson as well. And then any of the links within these lessons all link through to things in Purple Mash. So you don't have to worry about downloading extra software. It won't go to websites that have other stuff on it. It's all going to go straight through to things in Purple Mash for you. So it's nice and self-contained. If you want an overview for planning, I always say have a look here. So if I click on year 1 and I zip down here, you can see there's a nice overview of how many lessons there are, or weeks if you're doing 1 lesson per week. And you can mix and match this a little bit as well. So you don't have to do it in that order. If you want to do online safety in conjunction with online safety week or something like that, then you can move these units about if you need to. So don't worry about the order of those. So that's quite handy. Again, it's also handy if you're doing mixed year group planning. Now we do have mixed year group planning suggested for a 1, 2, a 3, 4 and a 5, 6 cycle. But if you have different combinations of those, what I suggest you do is download the year group overviews, and then you can sort of chop these up and create your own rolling program if you need a 3-year rolling program or what have you. So you've got planning for each year group, and it's exactly the same all the way through. If you click on year 6, same thing. You've got your units, you've got your overview for your units as well, with all your lesson plans and your curriculum maps, etc. So it's all pretty standard all the way through. You might find that handy. Oh, sorry, what I should have said is in the overview here for the whole scheme, that's where you'll also find the mixed year group planning. So again, as I say, if you're on a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, 6 cycle, then there's suggestions on how you might want to do that. Okay, so that might be helpful if you're a subject leader, particularly if you're computing. If you click on the subject leaders toolkits and the computers leaders toolkit, here you've got a whole load of useful documents you can just download. You can download the whole lot as a zip file if you want to, but what people particularly find useful if they're using the schema work within Purple Mash is the progression of skills documents there. So if you need those, they're laid out in different formats within that area. There's also other subject leaders ones in there too. So that's your computing. You've got all your grammar resources in one place. You've got all your spellings here as well. And there's an entire schema work for spellings, which is following the national curriculum spellings. If you want different spelling tests, you can create your own with the spelling quiz maker. Really straightforward and easy to do that. We've popped all your phonics in one place, all your printables in one place. If you're using Education for a Connected World, which I think came about this time last year, if I remember correctly, then this is all mapped as well. So I know some schools use it for some parts of it for their PSHE, sometimes for their RE, sometimes for their e-safety scheme. So again, you can click on this, you can scroll through all your different, so there's your early years, but you can go to year 1, and then you've got your self-image and identity, online relationships, online reputation, etc., and they're all mapped and linked over here as well. So if you're looking at that, that's all there for you. And the feature panel calendar, mustn't forget that. I find this really useful. So when it comes to September, you can have a quick look at what's coming up: International Peace Day, Harvest Festival, Rosh Hashanah, and then the links are all there straight through to the resources in Purple Mash. So I usually point out to teachers at the beginning of a CPD session, do take a look at the sort of planning and curriculum maps, because that will save you quite a lot of time of scrolling through resources in Purple Mash, you know, in the hunt for the that one that you want. Try in here and you'll find it's quite handy. Okay, so that's the planning and the curriculum areas. I would definitely look at that area. Now, other key things that you need to know about is that we've developed a whole bunch of resources in here. When I say bunch, I mean there's over 1,000 resources in these curriculum areas here. But what a lot of teachers don't realise is you can edit those. So if you need to change the scaffolding for them, or you need to add speech support, etc., then you've got the ability to do that. Now, any of the, if I just click on one of these, so if I clicked on, let's say, let's go for a history topic, and we might want Egyptians, and we might want the Nile. Okay, I can set this as an activity, but I'm just going to have a quick look at it so you can see what I mean here. Okay, so we've got some more information that they can look at in there if they want to, if they're doing some research. You've got your template here. You've got pictures that you can just add in if you want to, like that. You can drag clip art across and that sort of thing. Now here you've got what I call a word bin. They've called it a word box, but when they mouse over it, there's sort of hints on what they might want to look at. Okay, but what you can do in any of these resources that we've made, and as I say, there's over 1,000 of them, you can just click on the little hat button, teacher mode there, and once you've done that, can you see now this, whoops, this is all editable here. So this all has little pencil marks. So if you wanted to change any of this, you want to change the title or the text or the tooltip, that's what happens when you mouse over it. Or if you want to add speech support, you can just click on the sound button there and click record, and you can record your own voice into there, okay, and explain to them what they need to do. You see it's added it there, and now it's got some speech support in there. So you can edit this, you can change this, you can add more features to this word bin, and you can save it separately for use again. You can also add, by clicking the cog, a checklist, which is great if you want to tie it up with your learning objectives. So you can choose one that's already made. So I might just choose this one for the moment. And when they click on the checklist, I have remembered to. So again, this can be very much in line with your learning objectives. So you can see, you can edit all those, you can add speech support, you can save that as a separate checklist. Now, that's a quick overview. If you need help with this, once you've clicked on the teacher button, can you see up this top end, there's open videos that will explain how to do all this. But it's very quick and easy. I know how frustrating it is as a teacher to come across a resource and think, oh, that's almost okay for my class, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. This is your chance to change any of these. And indeed, if you want to start from scratch, if I went to something like the tools, and I've got Publish and Publish Plus, which have got loads of templates. Now, these are all blank documents. So if I wanted to create a newspaper, I can just click on my newspaper here. And in a moment, there we go. That's my, now this is a blank, it's got no pictures, but if I wanted to add one, I could get one from my PC and upload it, etc. Now, notice I also have the teacher mode button. So if I click on that and OK, can you see I now have a cog? So does it have a word bin? Well, no, this doesn't, because it's a template. So I could click on that. I could choose a word bin, and I've got a word bin for think about report writing. So I'm just going to open that. OK, and then I've added my little word bin that I've already created. So when, where, what, the sort of things they need to be asking themselves. Now, I might want a checklist, because I've actually created a report writer's checklist. So again, I get back to the cog up here. Does it have a checklist? No, it doesn't, but I want one, and I'm going to choose one, and I'm going to browse for one I've already made. So I've done a report writing top tips. So if I click open to that and OK. Now, when I click on there, I've added my top tips for report writing, so the children can make sure, oh, have I got a good header? Yeah, OK. Have I done the first sentence should be tell me what I'm about, sorry, OK. So they can work their way through, and this could, as I say, focus very much on the learning objectives that you're trying to achieve. And again, as I say, these are savable so that you can add them to other projects in the future, so you're not having to reinvent the wheel. So that's just an example of one that I've made from scratch. But as I say, you can edit any of the 1,000+ that we've already made if it's not quite what you need. Okay, so that's I'm sort of covering sort of differentiation there. The next bit would be classroom management. Now, what you don't want is spending half the lesson with the children getting logged in. I've been there, it's a pain. So what you want to do is make sure that you're using the quick login shortcut for the pupils. Now, that, if you haven't already got that on your you can put it on your iPads. It looks like an app on your iPads. Just use the share button and add to home screen for it to become like an app. But what you want to do is you want to click on admin, and then there's a button that says quick login shortcuts, and these are unique to your school. So you just copy that and paste it in. Okay, and then when the children actually log in with that, again, don't know whether you'll be able to see this. I won't bother just in case you can't see it, but they will get a list of their classes, and when they click on their class, they'll get a list of their names. They click on their name and they just pop their login in. And what I would always recommend for early years and key stage 1 is picture logins, and then basically they're logging in without typing because they just click on their animals on the screen. So that will really speed up your access to Purple Mash in the class. So instead of you know, having to put in their usernames and then their passwords, the quick login shortcut will save all that. So that's my hot tip for getting logged in. And then once you're logged in, you don't want to end up with a situation where you say, okay, class, click on tools, and they'll click something else. You say scroll down, which is fatal. Never ask them to scroll. You then say, I want you to click onto code, but they go and click something else. So if I wanted them to do a code activity, it's far easier for me to go and find the activity that I want them to do. So say I want them to do jumping monkey, and I could just set that as a to-do. Okay, and here you end up with like a little wizard for setting your to-do. Now obviously this is being used a lot for home learning at the moment, but it works really well as a classroom management tool because I can also add the objectives here as well. So I could say this is year 1 and computing and computer science, and these are my learning objectives. So I can pop those in as well and attach those to it. So when I get to mark it, I can decide on the learning objectives. I can tag it, but I don't have to, that's optional. But if I wanted to tag it coding, I'd be able to find all the coding work in future. I just click next. I don't have to have a set date to start. It'll go straight away if you don't put a date in there. But if you want them to do it tomorrow, you just click on tomorrow's date and it would they won't see it till tomorrow. Okay, you don't have to have a hand-in date. I don't usually bother, but it will stop them doing it after that hand-in date. And then you can restrict access if you want to. Again, in school, you might want to do that. So if it was an assessed piece of work, you might want to say only done at school, or if it's homework, you could say only done at home. You can get it to repeat if you want to. I probably wouldn't with this, but if it was a multiplications test, I might. And I just click next, and then I choose who's going to do it. So I can say class, my class is Neptune. If I click there, all of the children get it. If I click on here, I can select individuals to get it. If I want a particular group to do it, I can click on there and I can select my group, and my group will get that activity. So if I'm not setting the same work to the whole class, I can maybe have divided it up into groups, which is really quick and easy. These groups can be temporary. They could be your bubble at the moment, and you can change children in them and alter those as effortlessly as you would like to. So if I just click set to do, then that has been set for all of Neptune class. Okay, so then it's really straightforward for the pupils. All they need to do is log in. So I'm just going to impersonate a pupil from Neptune, Amber. So I impersonate Amber. So you can see Amber's in here. Amber's got an alert to say that she's been set a new to do, so she can go straight through to it. So she's logged in, she can just click on there, go to, or she can click on a to-do list, and any to-dos that she's got listed will be in here. She can start it. She's straight into the activity, no going around trying to find it. She clicks on the activity, she can drag it in there. Now, could be the end of the lesson, so you would just ask them to click the exit button, save and exit, log off, and it's done. Next lesson, or when they're at home, if you want them to carry on with it afterwards, all they've got to do is click on their to-dos, scroll to their activity, continue work. None of this, what did I save it as, where did I save it, what was it called, and then half the lesson spent trying to find the wretched piece of work. You've got it straight in here. They can just click continue and they can go straight through to it. Much easier in terms of classroom management. If they hand it in, they can leave a note for you. At the moment, the voice messages are quite popular, but you probably wouldn't use those quite as much in school. What you tend to find is loads of this sort of thing going on. They don't actually have to put anything in the comment section, but they can. And then once they've handed that in, the teacher can easily find all their to-dos by just clicking the data button. They've got an alert to say they've had one handed in, but if they click on the data button, and all the to-dos that the teacher has got open at the moment will be listed here. Click on Jumping Monkey, show the work, and there's Amber's work. But not only that, all the children's work that's been handed in will all be here, which is much easier than getting them to navigate to that piece of work. If you'd got them to navigate to Jumping Monkey, let's say you had the patience to do it, when they click save, it all goes to their individual work folders, which means you've got to find every single work folder, open it up and have a look at it. Whereas if you set it as a to-do, it's all coming through to the same folder for you. So just pretend all the children's work is in here. You can click the mark button to open it up, so you can see the piece of work in this column, and then over here I can mark it. And can you see now I can set a reward for them if I want, so I can give them an inspirational computing award if I want to. Judgments, I set 3 objectives. If I click on there, I can have a look at the work and I can decide where I think they're up to, and that's attached those judgments to this piece of work. And I can send them a comment, so I can put you know, great work, Amber. Now if I put great work, Amber, and I click save, she will get a message saying this is what your teacher said about your work. But I actually wanted to do something else, so I can put the dreaded button, can you now whatever I wanted to do next, and I can click save and redo, and what that will do is it will open it up for her again. So if I click save and redo, Amber will get a message to say she's been set a redo. So if I just quickly show you what she would see, let's click Amber again. So Amber, there's a reward up here. She can have a little look at her reward. Wow, fantastic. She's got an alert to say there's been a comment. She can go to it from here, or she can click on her to-dos and she can see what she's supposed to do next. But what I really like about this is when the child's clicked on this and gone to their work, they've got a post-it down at the bottom to remind them of what you want them to do in this piece of work. So I mean, this is coding, but it could just as easily be you know, English. Could you use a wider range of connectives? And they've got that reminder at the bottom as to what the teacher wants them to focus on next. Okay, so that in a nutshell is pretty much how I would manage the work. And then when I don't need that work anymore, when I've actually finished using it, I can click on the to-dos and I can say, okay, Jumping Monkey, I'm going to close this activity. And when you close the activity, you've got options. And again, this saves masses of teacher time, because the first option is I keep a copy as the teacher and I send a copy to the pupil folders, so that it's like handing it back to them. If I move the files to the pupil folders, I don't keep a copy, but the children get the work. Or I don't give the work back and I just keep a copy of it, or I delete everything. You do get a bit of a warning about that, because that will delete everything. But if I just say move the files to the pupil folders, okay, that sends it, and it doesn't matter how much work is in there, it's all going to be filed for you. So if I went to the children's work, so I went to class, I went to Neptune, I went to the pupils, and there's Amber's folder down there. Can you see she's got a done to-dos folder? And if I click in the done to-dos, there's the Jumping Monkey piece of work has been filed in there. Okay, so it will also auto-file it. So again, you know, busy teacher, classroom management, this is the way to go. Set the task as a to-do. You can attach your learning objectives if you want to. You don't have to. You can differentiate the work. You can add speech support to it. You don't have to. If you want to create a group, and I had several groups in my last class who weren't, all the pupils weren't necessarily from my class. So again, for maths and English, I would have children from another class sometimes. Very easy to do. You just click the admin button, create and manage users here. And then all you've got to do is click the groups button, and then you can just click add a group, and you can call it whatever you want to call it. Test, and it could be a maths group, and you just select the staff. So that might be me. Okay, and select the pupils. And if I wanted Neptune, it will just, I can just pop Neptune in there, and I can select all the children that I want for this group. Okay, and if I wanted to, I could select more from another class as well, and then just save, and that's my group. And I will then be able to set work to groups. So you can change the groups at any point. You can delete the groups. You could have SEN groups. You could have a group as a football team, netball team, whatever you want, because once you've created groups, you can blog with groups. You can email with groups. You can have display boards for groups. So you can get quite creative with your groups. And as I say, they don't have to be in the same class if you don't want them to be. So again, that's a really useful feature. So that is in terms of, as I say, the classroom management. If you want a quick overview, the data dashboard is a good place to start. So the to-dos, as I said before, that will be a list of all your current to-dos that you've got open. Okay. Scores, if you've set the children anything that has got a score in it, or they've done activities like multiplication tables check, or to code that actually, or spelling tests that actually have scores within them, you'll be able to access the scores from this area. So this is where you'd pick them up. So if I click multiplication tests, you can see there's a couple of children who have done that. And if you click on the plus button there, you'll also be able to see where they've got them wrong as well. And anything in scores is exportable as an Excel spreadsheet as well if you want to. There's your judgments. So again, if you wanted to check where they were up to in their computer science, for instance, you can see there's Amber, expected, emerging, exceeding, and all the rest of the class would be filled in here as well. So at a glance, you could see where they're up to. And again, you can export that as an Excel if you wanted to. And last but not least in this area, if you wanted to see where you're up to with the rewards, if you click on the rewards, you'll see all the children listed, all the subject areas, and you'll be able to see there's the one reward I've given Amber in computing. And again, it would just say the numbers that you'd given, and you can have it by achievement or by subject area. Okay, so again, just a handy little one-stop shop for collecting any sort of data that you might need at the moment. So I have quickly zipped through this just to give you an idea of the sort of things that will make your life easier back in the classroom. If you need more help and support on this, if you're still got children, which I mentioned you have, home learning, etc. If you click on the school closure button, which I've just clicked teachers, by the way, and went to school closure, what we've done in here is we've added a whole load of resources that you might find really useful. So these are one-page handouts. If you're a handout person, and I'm old school like that, then you've got differentiating tasks, setting tasks. These are just one-page PDFs with screenshots and speech bubbles and little arrows telling you all the main features that you need. So you've got those there. You've also got some videos on how to do email and blogging and display boards and that sort of thing. So if you just want a quick video, how to do it. And then you've also got, we added these in the last few months. If parents need help and support, you can send them the PDF guides for parents, or you can upload them to your website. We also do a teacher blog with new teaching ideas every day, so there's loads and loads on there because we've been doing that ever since the schools closed. And last but not least, we also have a training platform. Now you can access it from here, or you can go to the teacher button and scroll down to the professional development area, and you'll also be able to book a one-to-one with one of us if you need to do that, or you can go to as many webinars as you like as well. But the training platform here is a new feature, and it's got 16 self-tuition courses on. So if you're thinking, oh my goodness, he rushed through that, I haven't a clue, but it's given me a few ideas, there's a whole course on just home learning. There's a course on setting and assessing tasks, which again is some of the stuff I've just included. I didn't include how to do blogging, sharing with display boards, etc. They're all there on an online course here. And there's also subject area courses. There's serial mash course, which is very popular at the minute for the reading. And you've got introductions to our computing schema work, coding, online safety. And any of these courses, when you actually click on them, you'll see they're divided into sections. So this is why set to dos, setting to dos, differentiation, marking, closing to dos, and the data dashboard. And if you just wanted setting to dos, you just click on the relevant tab, and then you've got a little video that goes through that, and then you've got web links, and you've got a little quiz to go with each of these sort of mini videos. So this is sort of self-service CPD area. 16 courses on there if you need them. So if you take nothing else from today, remember, we've done quite a lot of planning and mapping for you in the teachers area. There's a whole lot of professional development in there to help you out. And of course, if you're a Purple Mash subscriber, you will get a CPD session usually included in your contract anyway. So do take advantage of that. That can be online or it can be on site. And when you're thinking about back in the classroom, remember, you've got over 1,000 activities you can differentiate, or you can even create your own. You can add speech support, you can set tasks for them for easy access during the school day. Don't forget the quick login shortcut, which again will speed up their access into Purple Mash. But managing their work with to-dos is a breeze. So hopefully that's given you a few ideas of the sort of things that you might want to use Purple Mash for when you're back in the sort of normal classroom situation. But of course, as I said, a lot of these features work really nicely for home learning too. Are there any questions?
We've got one question so far, which is, can you let me know the costings for this?
Oh gosh, look, I am CPD. I don't do this dark art of sales. But if you would like to know, I will get someone to contact you with that, because it does depend a little bit on size of school and that sort of thing. But I tend not to deal with that sort of thing. But you can just email me, andrew@toosimple.com, and I will forward your inquiry to the relevant person. So what we would need to know in order to let you know that is your number on roll is the most important for giving you an accurate pricing, and whether or not you want 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, because they usually go in those sort of bands. So andrew@number2simple.com, and we can help you out with that. Anything else?
No other questions at the moment, but now that you've given your email address out, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, you're more than welcome. Do get in contact. If you forget that I'm called Andrew, you can also try cpd@toosimple.com, and that will wing its way in my direction too. Don't forget, there's the webinars you can actually access as well. If you can sign up for those even if you don't have Purple Mash, so you can go to the website for things like the webinars, and that's just www.toosimple.com. You can also sign up for a trial from there as well if you want to. But if you are getting Purple Mash, or you need any help with things like setup, we have a team that helps you with that. So if you want to change your pupils over to next year, I would highly recommend you go for the MIS integration for your Sims, Integris, whatever you're using, because in future that means you can just sort of quickly update very fast if you've got that system in place. That doesn't cost you anything, but it saves you quite a bit of time. You can do it manually. But again, if you need any help and support, hand holding, the 2 Connects are the best for those. If you just want a one-to-one with one of the CPD team, we'll just take you through what you need to know. Any more? Anything else cropped up?
Nope, that's it at the moment. It must have been a very very good talk if there aren't very many questions, because there were definitely people there listening. We know that there were people
it was fast and furious, but as I say, we can follow up on any of this. I mean, I haven't gone into the other features of Purple Mash, but I mean, if we've got time, I can look at when are we supposed to finish?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think it might be about now. Did we start at 10:02? Because I think that
about 1, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, we've probably got about 5 minutes if you did want to.
Well, if you're still on and you, I didn't do a sort of, because it was quite a focused. I was looking at how you might manage it in the classroom. If your early years what I would suggest with this is that you go to your settings in Minimash before you start, and you make sure that all of the children have a tray. Can you see I've put yes, but the default is no. And then what will happen then is, because you've not got lots of devices usually in early years classrooms, I would log in as the teacher at the beginning of the day on your iPad, your laptop, whatever you've got, whiteboard. And then all you've got to do is get the children to do some work on Minimash. So let's say they go outside and they find they want to do this mini beast, and then all they've got to do is they can make their mini beast here, and all they've got to do then is click on there, click save, and it will open up their trays here, and they can just click on their tray, it will name it and date it, and they click save, and it's job done. Now again, early years, they might not be able to recognize their name yet. So what I suggest is you click on the Minimash button there and you say, go to the trays. And then what you can do is you can just click on the edit button there, and you can just go and choose a picture of them. So I could browse my computer. Let's say that's Amber. I can change Amber's tray to blue, so she knows she's looking for a blue tray. And can you see, they will then see the trays with their pictures on, which, you know, if they're struggling with their names, that's perfect. And then they just click on it, it names it and dates it and pops it in that tray automatically. You've got pins up here, which are topics. So you can, you can go to your pins here, and you've got a whole selection of different topics. So if it's baby animals you're doing, you can have a quick look at it, add baby animals, click on the star, and that'll be the first thing they see when they come on. So again, is they've got their baby animal resources all in there. And if you're feeling very creative, you can go to Teacher Tools, and you've got the templates for making your own activities. So you can make your own topic resources and you can pin them to the front. So we've given you loads of topics already, but if you want to make more, you can do that. You've also got the help to all the help videos. You've got the links to the early years scheme of work with all the links to everything in Minimash in there. So I would say for classroom management with that, I would say set up that, just click add trays, and it will create trays automatically, and then go to the trays and maybe add their photos to the trays, and maybe change the color of the trays so they know which color they're looking for. And then again, that will help with your classroom management within early years. So I think that's the way I would go if I was setting it up ready for an early years classroom. Okay, so that's your Minimash. Obviously, this area is all your tools, which is all your apps. There's absolutely masses in there. And then your serial mash is all your books as well. So there's new books every half term. So there's 3 new books, one for key stage 1, one for lower key stage 2, one for upper key stage 2. And don't forget, these are being used hugely at the minute. You can set chapters, you can set activities to go with them via the to-dos as well. And you can even set it up for an individual child. If say they've got dyslexia and they find different color contrast or size useful, then you can just click on there. You can change the text color and the background color and the size of the text if you need to, and it will remember it for that child's login. So again, that can be quite handy if you have children with specific needs. You can set their book up ready for them. Okay, that was just a few little extras. Wasn't quite sure that I would have time for that.
We've just had one last question, which is someone asking, is there a secondary version?
No, I'm afraid that there isn't at the minute. The only product that we do for secondary at the minute is Python in Pieces, which is sort of more aimed at sort of key stage 3, really. Having said that, I have done training in secondary schools, have Purple Mash for lower abilities, particularly key stage 3, of course. Some of their year 7s they've decided needed this sort of environment, and the sort of resources are in here. But currently, no, I'm afraid we don't.
Okay, brilliant. That is all of the questions. So thank you ever so much for your time and coming and speaking to us today.
That's all right. No problem. Do you just want me to sign off then?
Yeah, we'll all say goodbye together then. All right.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Good luck with all the reintroduction to schools and your bubbles and everything else. I hope you get a good summer break anyway.
Hopefully.
All
Take
right.
care. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.